CEO and co-founder of Cohere AI. So Cohere AI, as you know, is the company behind CommandR and CommandR Plus models, which are very good when it comes to retrieval augmented generation or RAG, even when compared to the state-of-the-art models that we are being using. So when he was asked about the latest models and how actually they are going to improve when it comes to reasoning, I mean the GPT-5 and upcoming models from Anthropic, how are they actually going to improve and what can we expect? So this was what he said.
This very obvious next step for models, which is you need to let them think and work through problems. You need to let them fail. They need to try something, fail, understood why they failed, roll that back and make another attempt. And so at present, there's no notion of problem solving. It's not that reasoning is hard. I think it's that there's not a lot of training data that demonstrates reasoning out on the internet. The internet is a lot of the output of a reasoning process. Like you don't show your work when you're writing something on the web. You sort of present your conclusion or present your idea, which is the output of loads of thinking and experience and discussion. So we just lack the training data. It's just not freely available. You have to build it yourself. And so that's what companies like Cohere and OpenAI and Anthropic, etc. That's what we're doing now, is collecting data that demonstrates human reasoning.
So as you guys saw, what he said is that, we have been making models which just give us answer. Maybe this was good in the early days when we used ChatGPT 3.5, but what we exactly need from this model is reasoning. And even if we think about ourselves, right? Just remember your days when you were in school or when you're going to your classes, you actually think through the solutions you do in maths, physics or any subjects. You just don't get into a conclusion. Or any question you are asked, even in the exams, they actually make you think and make you write your steps and come into conclusions based on your steps. So this is something which the models are not doing currently. We are trying to, make them do that by telling them to follow step-by-step reasoning, but even then they write down the steps, but they actually don't use those steps in many times and just come up with their own conclusions. We have seen in many benchmarks and all that in the subsequent steps it might have reached the correct answer, but at the end the answer is quite different. So they're actually not using reasoning but just mimicking it. So as he said, we actually lack the training data which is needed to make the models learn what reasoning means and what actually hit and trial on questions means. So this is what they have been developing, and I think this kind of training data will actually lead to models which don't need to know everything about the world, every information. They can use various web search tools for that, but they will be able to reason the information which they have got. Just as humans are, we don't know every information in the world, but we have the reasoning capability to understand what is important, what is not, and what is correct and what is wrong. So based on these, if we think the progress of AI, it doesn't seem to be slowing down, and that's exactly what the CEO of Cohere AI has said. Listen to what he continues to say. So many people are telling that the LLM models are plateauing and we are not seeing much of a development in recent years. Even in Twitter I saw one post which was telling that we haven't seen any major development compared to 2022 or maybe when GPT was released, GPT-4 was released. So he answers to this question, and let's have a listen.
There's sort of like a meme that's going around of people saying we plateaued, nothing's coming, it's slowing down. I actually really think that's wrong. And not just from like a we need to 10x compute and that type of thing perspective, and trust me, it'll get better. But from a methods perspective. So when I was talking about like reasoners and planners and models that can try things, fail, and recover from that failure, and carry out tasks that take a long time to accomplish. These are like, for the technologists, obvious things that just don't exist in the technology today. Like we just haven't had time to turn our focus there and add that capability into the model. For the past year plus, folks have been focusing on that, and it will be ready for production. And so we'll see that come out, and I think that will be a big change in terms of capability.
So as we saw, maybe Project Strawberry also comes somewhere near to what he has been saying. Project Strawberry is using Qstar and actually thinking ahead of what the answer needs to be. What is the correct path to approach to that answer, and having that in mind when you are going through the inference. Maybe they could achieve using training data which would mimic thinking process that human use. And as they said, such kind of data is not available, so they have to make up synthetic data. So when we were speculating that GPT-5 and all the new models will be using synthetic data, so this could be what they were referencing. So all these things actually make us very excited for the new models to come and how their reasoning capabilities will be. What do you guys think? Will we see a significant jump when it comes to GPT-5 or Claude 3.5 Opus? What's your opinion? Tell me down in the comment sections, and see you guys in the next video.